Saturday morning. I'm Dan Kennedy, and we are coming on 11 Alive Plus this morning to bring you extensive coverage of two storylines coming together across the nation today, and Metro Atlanta will be playing a prominent role. You're looking live now in the U.S. Capitol and the White House not far behind, which will serve as a backdrop for a parade celebrating today's 250th birthday of the United States Army. It'll be a rather short parade route down Constitution Avenue, starting at the Lincoln Memorial and ending just past the White House in front of the Washington Monument. Military officials were working right up until today's start of 6:30 p.m. It's expected to include about 6,600 soldiers, 50 helicopters, and 60-ton M1 Abrams battle tanks, as well as possibly 200,000 attendees. And you can imagine heightened security to match. Army leaders defended the parade's estimated $25 to $45 million price tag, saying that they predict that event will boost recruitment. This is also falling on President Trump's 79th birthday, and that's the source for today's first planned protest in Metro Atlanta. Let's go now live to 11 Alive's Chase Howe, live from Liberty Plaza, across from the state capitol, where there is a No Kings protest underway right now. Chase, what are you seeing out there?
Is the time. Hey Dan, I would say there's maybe about 1,000 people out here at Liberty Plaza right now, many of them just holding signs. I mean, take a look behind me here. It's like a sea of signs, I should say, with various different meanings and also targeting a lot of issues, like with ICE, that's also talking about the immigration issues. They're also talking about how they want the hands off, like for those CDC workers that we brought you back in April. This has been in direct response to that 250th Army parade that's going on in D.C., as you originally mentioned, and it just so happens to fall on Trump's 79th birthday, and they're actually calling today a day of defiance nationwide. Now, I also want to bring in my buddy here, Jacob, who actually just came out here today. Now, Jacob, you're from Stone Mountain. Why did you come out here today? Why was it so important?
I actually was talking to my roommate about this last night when he came home at like 3 a.m. There's not a lot of people who can come out to this sort of thing, who work a day-to-day, who work a night shift, the core people who make the city form and function. So it's part of our job, day people, to come out, let the voice be heard. It's not always about screaming the loudest, but seeing yourself on the screen or seeing somebody in your community that you can empathize with is very important. So even though I don't like coming out of this kind of stuff, I feel like it's my duty to do so.
You know, you kind of said, you and your partner, you guys said you're standing with the weirdos.
Yes.
Why do you say that? I think it's just, I want you to define weirdo.
So to me what that means, they call them the normies. It's the people who walk out, have a 9 to 5, kind of live their day outside of a lot of other influences. If you have worked a night job, you've worked at a bar, you've worked at a club, you'll see an entire other side of the world that exists while you're sleeping. And those are the people that I call the oddballs. People who have to work a graveyard shift or have to go into the factory in order to make things for us so that we can live our lives, but are probably never going to be heard of outside of their family. That's who I mean by that.
You know, and Jacob, I want us to kind of look. I'm going to have you turn around, just face the crowd. When you face the crowd, you know, what do you think when you see all these people out here?
A lot of mixed emotions. You know, it makes me very happy that everybody is out here, but also the fact that we kind of have to be out here is kind of sad. It's a little bit of a melancholic, bittersweet feeling, but I'm very happy and proud to be out here with all my friends.
Jacob, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. As you just heard from Jacob, who's from Stone Mountain, he's just one of the, I would say, 1,000 people out here standing up for his freedom of speech. They actually, if I can find it, let me check if it's in my pocket still. Actually, they gave out these freedom of speech rights, and it actually has a QR code that you can scan to see what your First Amendment rights are. These were given out by the ACLU, who's also kind of really focused on this event, who's been really kind of hosting it.
Chase, thank you, and we appreciate that live interview there. Can you give us an idea of who is speaking? I hear a speaker clearly. It's a very organized event here. And is it going to be one of those events where there are speakers for the next couple hours? Are we going to hear chants, marches? How do you see this morning playing out for the next couple hours?
I want to say this. I want to just make this note, Dan, because I think it's important to say this. How I plan on this day going is peaceful. That's the key word here. This is a peaceful protest, and they don't want any sort of violence to break out at all. And as you can hear, I want you to take a listen. Hold on. They were just chanting something. I couldn't make it out. And you asked who was speaking. I'm not too sure right now, as I was just interviewing my friend Jacob from Stone Mountain. But I would just expect today just to have several speakers. There's going to be chants that's going on. Anything that you'd really expect out of protest, Dan. So I think that's, if you come out here, that's what you're going to see. And there's also a lot of law enforcement out here that's really kind of making sure everything stays calm for this peaceful protest. And they're also managing the crowd inside Liberty Plaza. Plaza by giving out these blue wristbands, because Liberty Plaza itself can only hold about 5,000 people. So let me take actually a look behind me. As you can see, there's people also around the perimeter of Liberty Plaza. Well, there's actually people on the steps of the Capitol kind of listening to these speakers as well and joining in with all these people just to support them, support their causes, and to stand up for, frankly, what they believe in.
Chase, we covered an earlier protest this week. It was an anti-ICE protest in Brookhaven. It started off very peaceful, just as this protest is, but by the end of the night there were 6 arrests. Police said it was because there were agitators there not associated with the protest. I'm curious if you've seen any agitators there. Have you seen any counter-protesters, anybody who's disagreeing with the message, any reason to think there could be any trouble at all later today?
You know, Dan, I don't even want to put that out in the atmosphere, because right now everyone is just so peaceful right now. I haven't seen any agitators out here. People are really just banding together and just standing up for what they believe in, as I mentioned, and supporting those around them, or as, you know, Jacob called them, the outsiders, the weirdos out there, you know, the outliers that who they're standing up with right now. And I think that's the important message. And I want to keep reiterating peaceful protest. This is peaceful. People are speaking. Someone's just mentioning an ICE detention center up there who's speaking right now, and that's a crowd booing for that person who was taken to that ICE detention center.
Oh, very interesting. Chase, thanks. We'll let you get back to news gathering, and we'll talk to you very soon. Folks exercising their First Amendment rights there on Liberty Plaza this morning in Atlanta. Protests in Washington were already starting to take place yesterday. In fact, we have some new video posted to social media. It shows a group of protesters busting through a fence barricade and running to the steps of Capitol Hill. This was organized by veterans opposing the upcoming U.S. Army anniversary parade, as we told you, happening a little later today. Well, is it a show of force or a show of waste? A new NBC News poll from the Decision Desk sheds light on how Americans are feeling about the use of taxpayer dollars for a military parade. The response is loud and clear. The question asked American adults whether they support using government funds for a military parade, and the result? A clear majority, 64%, say they oppose the idea. Only 36% express support. That includes both strong support and somewhat support or opposition. It is a sharp rebuke to a proposal that some view as symbolic patriotism and others as unnecessary spending. We do also want to tell you that tomorrow on Meet the Press, Steve Kornacki will be breaking down these numbers and diving even deeper. What do Americans think of President Trump's approval ratings, his immigration policies, tariffs, and more? Don't miss the new data and the analysis behind it. Meet the Press tomorrow morning at 10 right here on 11 Alive.